We are live.
We are live, CBS 105.7, HD2, FM 920 AM, InsideSTL.com. We have the absolute pleasure of having Lucero in studio right now. We've got Ben and Rick. They're going to play us a little song, and it's called Shelter from the movie Take Shelter. That's right.
My brother's movie.
Ben's brother did it, and we're going to get into that and a ton more. But let's start off with a song, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having us. See those storm clouds rolling in. It's like I knew it would begin. Midnight sky, noonday. The shelter's still so far away. I see that look there in your eyes, reflecting more than those dark skies. Time to think on what's been lost. Move along and lose it all. And I don't know just what we'll do, and I don't know just where we'll go. All I know is we gotta move. All I know is to keep you close, close, keep you close. Never been like this before. Storm to match the paint on a horse. Water's red, the sky's black. Well, take my hand now, don't look back. And I don't know just what we'll do, and I don't know just where we'll go. All I know is we gotta move. All I know is to keep you close. Keep you close. All I know is to keep you close. All I know is to keep you close. All I know is to keep you close. Just what we'll do, and I don't know just where we'll go. All I know is we gotta move. All I know is to keep you close, close, keep you close. Something like that.
Yeah, that wasn't bad at all. That wasn't bad at all. Not too bad.
You played that a few times. I was worried.
A couple.
Yeah.
Not usually this early in the day.
Yeah. What's a typical thing? So we've got Lucero in town. You guys have two, we'll call it sold out shows at Off Broadway for the next 2 days. You were in Columbus last night, here for the next 2 nights. Can't say how excited we are to have you here. I've been a fan for a very long time. When did you guys get this started? 98, 2000, that era?
Yeah, actually, if today's the 13th, is it the 13th? I think this is the 18-year anniversary of our first show, actually.
How crazy is that to you?
18 years, which is nuts. Yeah,
Wow.
I can't believe it.
And it's dog years as well. You guys, the way you tour.
It does age you fairly fast, yes.
You're hanging in there fine. Yeah, as I told you at the place we were at earlier.
I'm only 26.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
We got Rick and
I
Ben
look
here.
47, but
Oh, please.
yeah, but I'm only 24. Been doing
Yeah.
this since I was, what is that, 6 years old?
Yes.
Yeah, 6
Yeah.
years old. It's rough days for a first grader back then.
Right.
Man.
Well, and the songs about whiskey and sex and things like that. That makes sense.
You know,
now.
if first grade's different now.
Yeah, things have changed.
Yeah.
Where'd you guys grow up? Memphis? That's right. Right.
Rick did. I grew up in Little Rock, Arkansas, actually.
Yeah, you guys have a big Arkansas following, which is
Yeah.
you should be proud of that, right? Who's
Yeah,
from there?
definitely.
Matt Besser, the comedian. There's
Who's
Ralphie
from
May.
Arkansas?
Matt Besser.
Well,
yeah.
Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Billy Bob Thornton, Louis Jordan. There's oh man, who else? Yeah, there's a bunch of. I
think
Johnny
Ralphie
Cash
May is
alone
from
kind of makes
Yeah,
the state
yeah, you're
pretty effing
good.
awesome. Yeah.
No, that I've been following you for quite a while, and to see your evolution just go from songs that I've probably gotten drunk to more than I care to admit. It's almost an anthem for bourbon or whiskey drinking. I mean, and then
It seems to go along with the music. Yeah.
Yeah, your live shows encapsulate that as well, and it's not the sad sitting there; it's people cheersing, having a good time.
Man, yeah. Even the slow, sad songs are still good drinking songs.
Yeah, and that much for a song that much further west,
Right.
a little bit slower, but then
Right.
live when you guys kick it up, that gets people moving.
Yeah, no, it's I like being able to do anything we want. We can do slow and sad, or we can do fast and rockin'. Either way, and
Sure.
everything in between.
Did you come from a punk rock background, or I mean, I know it's in the bios, and it's hey, we
kind
were
of.
playing some punk shows.
I
and-
knew Brian Venable, the guitar player, from going to a bunch of local punk rock shows in Memphis. Your small garage venues or house shows and that kind of
Yeah.
thing. So that's how we met. Yeah.
That's how you guys met. So, in regards to who you were going to see, I mean, do you have any, I guess, influences from that? Or, I mean, if you listen to your music, I think there's some pretty obvious influences at times,
Yeah.
maybe, although you guys have a very unique sound. Who brought you in from the rock or the punk rock side?
Well, like at the time, I don't know, one of the few cover songs that we do is a Jawbreaker song.
Yeah.
Called Kiss the Bottle. And I never saw them in Memphis. I saw them in Little Rock and I saw them in New Orleans. But yeah, that was one of the bands that Brian and I were both big fans of.
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff, man, I don't know. I remember Brian getting real drunk at a Promise Ring show, Cap and Jazz. I don't know.
No, that makes
that
sense.
mid-'90s kind of
I followed that.
sort of punk rock
The
stuff.
guy, this is such a strange thing, and I bring this up all the Chris Rowe from the Ataris actually put me onto you guys.
Oh, yeah?
In I don't know, 2004.
Yeah,
And-
I
and-
didn't. By the time the Ataris became big, I was delving into other stuff.
Yeah.
So, but I
Oh no, but
I
he's
met
super
that
into
guy.
Jets to Brazil and
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Jawbreaker.
We share some of the same influences for sure.
Absolutely. So if you're just tuning in, we've got Ben and then maybe a little bit of Rick from Lucero. They're here in town. May be able to get tickets still. Maybe you'll come beg your way in. It's basically sold out. As far as venues go, I was talking to Jimmy, who runs your tour. It looks like you guys are doing very well at this point. I mean, do you guys feel like you're at a point where the touring, the new albums all the time coming out? I mean, is this where you want to be? Is this the next step to where you're headed?
Man, I'm real happy and feel real lucky to be doing what we're doing right now at this level.
Sure.
And yeah, Off Broadway specifically is a really nice club, and they treat us super well. And yeah, I like playing the smaller venues. It's what we're used to, and it's what we're good at. If it gets too big, it gets a little unwieldy for me. And I'm more comfortable in a smaller setting. So really, we're keeping busy and we're staying on the road quite a bit, and the shows have been well attended. So yeah, we got nothing to complain about, and I'll keep doing this for quite a while if I can.
I would hope so, yeah.
No, the track you play for us to start is easily one of my favorite songs. How do you, I guess you've been producing and writing and playing for so long, and you guys put out so much music consistently. How do you get into a place to come up with a track like that? I know you did it for your brother for the film, but how that type of song, I feel like you have to be somewhere, or you have to go back to a moment to come up with such a powerful and moving song like that. How do you get there? And is there a particular moment, or it's just what is your process, I guess?
I mean, it used to be I would just before I really started drinking heavily, I would actually stay at home all night and write songs, and I was doing it constantly.
Right. Sure.
And that's how a lot of the early stuff got written. Nowadays we're on the road so much, and it's hard to find the time. Now basically, when it comes time to, it's like, oh, we've got some studio time booked.
Right.
I need to write some songs, and then I sit down and really focus. And when I do that, yeah, I've got, you keep a list of ideas, phrases, and words that you might like, that you think might fit into a song. And so then, yeah, you just sit down by yourself and you stumble around on the guitar until you find something that's kind of pretty that you don't think you've heard before.
Right.
And then, yeah, you go through that list of ideas and just see if anything clicks and fits in with that musical pattern.
Right.
And then, yeah, once you got that, then fleshing out the song, yeah, you might have to, like you said, take yourself to another place.
Right.
Or kind of search through the memories and the emotions, and yeah,
Is that
try to
tough
find
for me?
something
I feel like that is so. It's just from even a writer standpoint. I feel like that's a bit of a journey emotionally to go
sure.
down that road. How do you handle that?
This is too with a movie like Take Shelter.
Yeah, it's an intense movie.
Right.
Yeah, and if you guys are,
so that
are curious,
helps.
Jeff, your
That's
brother
easier.
Nichols. Yeah.
Yeah, my brother's writer-director named Jeff Nichols, and Take Shelter came out a while back. But yeah, with that movie kind of as your source material,
Right.
That is pretty easy to get where you want to go emotionally. Just, yeah, I don't know if y'all know it that well, but the last scene is one of my favorites that my brother's come up with. And yeah, you've got a husband and a wife and a kid, and everything's going crazy. And so, yeah, for that song, it was pretty easy to tap into that. But I don't know. I don't mind living in that world.
Right.
That's kind of the Lucero world.
It certainly is, and then just following so. First of all, it's great that you're tied in to your brother, and it's a healthy tie-in. You don't,
Man.
and it's you guys work hard. The films he's made.
Yeah, I love his stuff. He did Shotgun
Is it easy
Stories.
whenever you have somebody that makes good? Like if your brother made some kind of hokey crap, it'd
Right.
be like, he made.
I'd be like, yeah, whatever.
Same with
he's
you
fine.
guys. If you were pumping out crap to do that, it's just such a nice tie-in. The movie, and you guys, were you featured in Mud?
Yeah, we had a lot of music in Mud.
And it was
we
fun.
worked
Before
on
I
the score,
Googled,
too.
that was very confusing for me that you guys were popping up in these things. And I was
Right.
like, why did I see a Lucero t-shirt or hear a Lucero
Right.
song in XYZ movie?
No, it's been cool. From the very beginning, when he was in film school, I would go to North Carolina, and I was in all of his student films.
Sure.
And I would do music for his student films. And so then when he made Shotgun Stories, his first film, he just kind of used Lucero music, just bits and pieces of it, and worked it in. But then, yeah, for Take Shelter, we wrote a song. And for Mud, we actually wrote a number of songs. And
They were in the movie, right? Not on.
yeah, and we worked with
soundtrack.
David Wingo, who does all of his
All
scoring.
his scoring, yeah.
And so we collaborated with him for Mud, and yeah, that worked out real well.
Was that a peek into you guys growing up? Some of
kinda.
that. Well, I
We
saw
weren't
like
that
I grew
cool.
up
So it's not,
fine.
he's like, is it Dr. Phil time now?
We
No,
weren't,
what is
we
turning
weren't that
into?
cool. We,
No.
We wanted to take boats out on the Mississippi River, and we wanted to ride dirt bikes around and be awesome,
It
and
was
hang out with cool, ex-cons on deserted islands. But no, none of that actually happened.
I grew up in Farmington, Missouri, which is a small town south of here. I didn't, in the same sense, it's like, yeah, I wasn't out doing that stuff. I knew people that were scumbags, like that were in that
Right.
movie, though.
No,
It just-
I don't know. We grew up in Arkansas, and we grew up on rivers and fishing and stuff. But yeah, we weren't quite as cool as Neckbone and Ellis, I think is his name in that movie.
Yeah.
We weren't as cool as those kids.
it really is.
No,
So
we have the opportunity to interview a ton of comedians, and the question I generally like to ask is, when do you know you have an audience? And I feel like it may be a little bit different for musicians, especially for you guys
Man.
who've been doing it for so long. Can you recall, or do you remember the moment when you performed something live and you immediately knew you had that audience just on
Like
every
each
note,
night,
every
from
key?
night to
Yes.
night,
Yeah.
when is the crowd on your side?
Yeah. Do you know when that moment happens, or can you recall the first time it
Man.
happened?
Man, it's for me, it fluctuates throughout the evening.
Right.
And it's easy to lose. You're like, I've got the crowd.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you've lost the crowd. It's not hard to do. You can talk into that microphone
Come on,
if you want
Rick.
to, Rick. Rick's trying real hard not to talk. He's got so much stuff he wants to say though, but he's trying. You can chime in, Rick.
Well, it's just the rhythm of the night. You can, exactly like he said, you can think you have a crowd and then you do something slow and pretty and there's 100 people talking through it.
Yeah.
It's just, you never know. It varies throughout the course of the night. Sometimes you have to do something loud and angry to get their attention back,
Right.
which we can do too.
Yeah, it's kind of. I wish you could just have them and that was it for the rest of the night. But no, it's like a constant struggle to keep their attention.
Wow.
And so yeah, I don't know.
But we don't have a third wall kind of a relationship with shows. I mean, we're pretty much looking right at you.
Right.
No,
You're looking right at us.
Yeah.
It's not like a veil of theater in between. You and
Right.
the
No,
audience.
there's exactly.
It's all very real and tangible.
Rick,
Which for a comedian, I don't. Oh, thank God I don't have to be a stand-up comedian. God, that would be a rough job.
you don't work any wiener jokes in between.
Man,
in
if
between
I'm
songs?
telling a joke, something's gone wrong. That's the evening has gone awry. If I'm telling jokes,
That makes perfect sense. Rick, what's the, and I apologize to include you in on the interview, but what are the similarities between, so you come from a famous lineage, if the internet is true.
Yeah.
I believe your father played trumpet for Elvis.
He played on a lot of records, Elvis among them, yeah.
That's amazing that you can include that and to have that as a source of pride, I'm sure, for you. In regards to yourself, you were saying there were some wild times with Hank Williams Jr.
Oh, sure.
on tour that you were part of his band,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
What are the comparisons between a raucous time like that? And not to say Lucero is not going to bring a raucous time. I've been to plenty of shows where it looked like some stuff was going on, but if you're looking at the two, I mean, are there comparing and contrasting points that you can make from those experiences?
Well, it's all Southern music for one thing,
Yeah.
which is a positive. But no, there aren't a lot of similarities in the day-to-day kind of thing.
Right.
When you're somebody like on a Hank thing, the relationship between the artist and the band and the artist and the audience is a lot more distance.
Sure.
I mean, we do what we do in a box most of the year with each other all the time. So it's, and with Hank, you play huge places. With this, you can actually see the people you're playing to. So I much prefer what we're afforded to be able to do than anything like that,
Makes sense. Ben, you got another song in you, and then we'll do
sure.
this. We'll with the middle, and then talk a little more, and we'll close it out with a brand new song. You said,
yeah.
our lucky day, man.
So yeah, we'll do the one we're doing right now is off the new record. The record's called All a Man Should Do, and this song is called I Went Looking for Warren Zevon's Los Angeles. City of the sea of lights, Venice Beach to Hollywood and Vine. I'm drinking whiskey in my winter coat. An empty-hearted town sure gets cold. And Dan tennis by the troubadour. Harry Dean singing old Danny Boy. Well, after hours, the overpass. Hour after hour, the overpass. Went looking for Warren Zevon's Los Angeles. I got turned around on Gower Avenue. So long, going back to Memphis with a picture and a song. So long, gonna find a jukebox everyone can sing along. Gonna find a jukebox everyone can sing along. Took some pictures in a photo booth. You gotta give her credit where credit's due. Pretty girls, the crowded streets, like desperados waiting under the eaves. I fell in love, but the love ran out. Lucero, Adobe by the Paramount. Margaritas on the black palm trees. I got time, no one's waiting for me. When looking for Warren Zevon's Los Angeles, I got turned around on Gower Avenue. picture and a song. So long, so long. Gonna find a jukebox, everyone can sing along. Gonna find a jukebox, everyone can sing along. All right. My own damn fault just how hard I fell. I never found a Hollywood Hawaiian hotel. Well, so long, so long. I'm going back to Memphis with a picture and a song. So long, so long. I'm gonna find a jukebox, everyone can sing along. So long, so long.
Wow.
Thank
Like
you.
that, Travis?
Really damn good.
Man, thank you very much.
Good. That was a great track.
This
Good.
new
Man,
album,
thank you.
man, and if you had the whole crew here, Can't You Hear Them Howl has just,
Thank
my
you.
God, how
Man,
great is that
That's
live?
a fun one. And yeah, it's that. Yeah, the horn section on that one is just killer.
It's interesting. It's so cool. I was just giving him a little catch up. I was like, okay, here's My Best Girl, right? The song, an older song,
Yeah,
more of a
real
slow
old.
paced, yeah.
Right.
And then I was like, what? But hey, wait, listen to this. And then obviously the song that you just played, when Looking for Warrens of
Right.
Los Angeles, that to me is a testament to the growth, and then just you're forced to move forward in a positive manner. You're not, and I don't
Right.
like to use the word sell out. I'm always happy if people make some money for whatever they do.
Right. Oh
What
man,
I-
we've been trying. Nobody will buy us. We've been trying to sell out forever, and no one will effing buy us.
but the growth, and then the album on that. I mean, you guys have just forced these out in a great way. I mean, how proud of you of this album, and I guess the
Oh, very
details
proud.
of the different aspects of the different songs on here.
This record, I was very pleased with how it came out. We were working with Ted Hutt, the same producer as the last couple records.
Sure.
But this record's the first one I played acoustic guitar on, and so it kind of automatically had a softer feel to it.
Right.
Which allowed us to. It's just got real nice dynamics. And we still had, half the songs have the horn section on them, half don't. Which on the last record, I think almost every song had horns on it. So yeah, it was a nice change of pace for us, which actually kind of looped back around and fit in real nicely with the real old stuff.
Right.
Sure.
And it's another thing I like about Lucero is that we can play songs we wrote 18 years ago with songs we wrote yesterday.
Yeah.
And it still sounds like the same band. It's a wide variety of sounds and a wide variety of types of songs, but it still sounds like Lucero, I think, or I hope so.
As a fan, I think it certainly does, and it's an effective way to grow and to
hope so.
do some different stuff. That has to be important to you guys as artists too, to do a different thing. You need to exercise those muscles that maybe you don't get to use.
And it's
all the
cool.
time.
When the horn section came around, I had no idea how we were going to work that in.
Right.
But
You nailed it.
It's an experiment and it's fun.
Yeah.
It's like when Rick came on board with the keyboards, that totally changed, what we could do sonically, and it made it a whole new band for me. And so it allowed us to continue to do it and continue to grow. And it's just fun, experiment with new stuff, and hopefully the crowd sticks with us.
Are there any personal lessons that you picked up along the way throughout this evolution? I would imagine going from one end of the spectrum to the next, there were a few lessons maybe in between.
I don't know. I'm not sure what you mean by lessons.
Or is there anything that stood out, any particular moments where you were as you were...
how to be a musician?
Or just when you were adding the new sounds, when you're adding different elements that you
Oh, yeah.
initially didn't have into your music, was there anything that motivated you to want to go that route?
Right. I'm not sure I'm not sure how to answer that. I think I know what you're talking
I
about.
don't think you put any limitations on what you're trying to write for. If you're trying to write, you see and hear all kind of different instrumentations.
Right.
And it
in
could
your
go
mind in
it could go a
So
bazillion different
I don't
ways.
think we're limited really by that because,
Right.
like Ben said, if we're playing it, it's gonna sound like Lucero anyway. We can't
Right.
help it. That's how we sound.
Right.
You know.
And I'm
So
sure there was some
introducing
trial and
something
error
in-
with some stuff, but I don't know. We can almost make anything work.
Nice.
You know.
Oh,
a good place to
That's
be.
the other great
Yeah.
confidence to
I
have
don't
to be
know.
able to do that. I think that's
I
extremely
mean, like
impressive.
we had this song called "Noon as Dark as Midnight," and I guess Danger Mouse was producing this ASAP Rocky record.
Nice.
And he sampled "Noon as Dark as Midnight." We're pretty much the whole song. I think the song is called "Holy Ghost," and when I heard that, I was like, "Oh yeah." I remember thinking a long time ago, with the drum beat Roy was playing, I'm like, "Yeah, if you have somebody rap over that, that'd be an amazing hip hop song." And then all of a sudden, yeah, ASAP Rocky actually did it.
That's
and I thought it
crazy.
sounded great. I love that song. And so, yeah, and I'm perfectly comfortable going. I don't think we're gonna do any rap songs ourselves.
You never know.
I'm not gonna rap probably. That would probably be a misstep.
But to have the ear
that
for it
lesson I
is pretty.
know.
That's pretty sweet that you would have the ear for it
But I
and
can
just say, "Oh, I
respect
can
it.
see
And I think
exactly."
it's badass.
That's really neat.
And
Bike
so,
Riders is kind of a rap. You're kind of rap.
This is close. It depends on how many Red Bulls
Yeah.
my drummer Roy drank that day, and yeah, it can get a little fast.
It's actually why we
sometimes.
brought you here. Travis wants to rap over this. Yeah, that's what we were thinking.
can
Yeah.
end this
Sorry to
session right
ambush
now.
you like this, but if we could drop some.
Pick one of those two tunes.
Yeah, then just go. Yeah.
Go make it your own.
No, that makes perfect sense. So before we got a little bit of time left here, and then we'll get another song in. But I wanted there were a few things, and I assume you're aware of this. I guess you never know in the world you live in. Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
This is weird. Was your brother involved with that?
No.
Can you explain why there's a Lucero poster in the kids'
The
room?
rumor I heard was that they were letting Walt Jr. I don't know the actor's name, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But the character, Walt Jr. I guess the rumor I heard was that they were letting him decorate his room kind of the way he wanted to.
Sure.
And so I guess he's just a Lucero fan.
That is
and hung
pretty
up a
sweet.
poster.
Yeah.
So and that's kind of the best way to have that happen. You don't want like a production designer or somebody that has no idea what this is.
32-year-old
just
from
sticking it out,
Manhattan.
you know?
Right.
Yeah.
But having the actor actually he was pretty cool.
Yeah,
So,
that's
yeah.
and that I just thought that was. I was like, did Jeff make this happen?
No,
Or does this have something
no,
to do with it?
No, I think that was outside of
very
outside
cool.
of my brother's realm.
And then sticking with the TV entertainment, which this is crazy to me because we're big Walking Dead fans as
yeah.
well. And then your song "Last
Yeah.
Pale Light in the West" shows up during one of my favorite TV shows, and I'm
Yeah.
sitting. I think you got. I don't know. I'm sitting here tweeting. I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
That was huge.
Was
that was
that
a big compliment.
Right? Was that just a? Did they just reach out to you and that they tracked
Yeah.
it? I mean, how did that work out?
Scott Gimple is the showrunner
Yep.
for Walking Dead, and he apparently was a big fan of this solo record that I did, which is actually called "Last Pale Light
Yeah.
in the West." And he said he had been writing a lot of scenes, listening to this album, and then really liked the title track.
Sure.
And I think he pretty much wrote that scene with the governor kind of based around those
Wow,
lyrics.
that's
Did you
awesome.
feel like he
Pretty
nailed
awesome. Because there's the scene is when the governor's out just wandering,
Right.
and he's gone kind of feral. But then he sees this little girl, I think maybe in a yellow dress, up in a window, and that kind of brings him out of his whatever haze.
Right.
And so yeah, I think the impression I got was that he wrote the scene around that song. Because
Wow.
he was like, he's like, I'd love for you to write a song. I need it by Wednesday. I'm like, all right. I'm in LA. I actually called Ted Hutt, and I put this song together real quick called "This Old Death," which actually turned out real nice for such short notice.
Sure.
And he was like, "Oh yeah, this is great. I love it. And then when we got done with it, though, he was listening, and I think he was just so attached to those lyrics from "The Last Pale Light" that he had to go with it, and that was the right choice. But "This Old Death" ended up being on the Walking Dead soundtrack for season 4 or whatever season that was.
Is that surreal to see your lyrics, your music, put in that particular setting? Like, I don't
it's
know what the
awesome.
reaction would be when
Yeah,
you see
that's
it.
something
played
he's
That's so
out
fan.
that
satisfying
way.
to hear you say that it's awesome too.
Yeah,
That's
I was a
great.
fan of the comic book before it became a show,
Yeah.
and then I was
Nice.
excited when it became a TV show. And then I was like, oh yeah, they're doing this well, and so yeah, getting to be involved in that is that's a really good feeling. You feel like you accomplished
Yeah.
something. So,
That's a victory. You know, whatever you look at from that
sure.
sense. You still keep up with the comics?
man, not the comics. I keep
Yeah.
up with the show.
Sure.
But the comics, I don't know. I don't want to.
Guys, spoiler alert, we're talking about Walking Dead.
We're talking about
please
Walking Dead
speak
comics.
freely.
No. I was a big fan of the first 6 issues, which was done by a different artist.
Yeah.
And then when they changed artists, that's kind of when I fell away from the comic book.
Yeah.
Nothing against the artist now. I don't want to say that bad.
Tell you
I
what,
don't wanna
I
get in
think that
trouble.
original artist settled nicely recently. I feel like.
Man, and I'm a fan of a bunch of his comic books. And I'm gonna get his name wrong if I try to use it. But he illustrated a comic called Fear Agent. Tony Moore, I think, is his name.
That sounds familiar.
But I just like his style. I like his art quite a bit. So when he left the comic, that's when I left the comic.
checked out.
But I'm glad the show exists, and I'm a huge fan
Yeah,
of the
and
show.
then to have your art infused
Yeah,
into their
just
art.
to know that the guy who's writing all those episodes is sitting there listening to your record
Right.
while he's writing, that's huge. That's a huge compliment.
Does at a certain point, as you mentioned, Rick being on the road with Hank Williams Jr. and just the different levels, is it possible if say this new album something happens that propels you up that we're seeing? For example, we're getting ready to interview Wheeler Walker Jr. Are you familiar with him? He's a comedian. He did a country album, and it's
Man, I don't know him.
taken it's like on the top 10 country charts. It's a
really?
comedian from Kentucky, Ben Hoffman, who had a show on Comedy Central, who did a joke country album, but I believe he used Sturgill Simpson's backing band.
Oh,
so
well,
it sounds
good.
very real.
Yeah.
Either way, my point would be is it possible for you guys to maintain and to keep the brotherhood that you guys have if there is that 5 levels up from now?
That's probably not going to happen. But if it did, I think we'd be fine. We've been doing this for so long.
Sure.
Everybody knows, how everybody else is and when to give them space, when to back off. It's, I don't know, we've kind of got it figured out.
Put us in a great big place. It's still going to be the 5 of us in a corner of it.
And
somewhere.
it's going to be,
Right.
It's just
and it's us against them, but I'm not worried about getting real big anytime soon. We're safe.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, as long as
easy,
you-
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, tell you what, we'll get these guys out of here, and they've been just absolutely wonderful to have.
And
And
thank you for having us.
if you guys are in town and think you can sneak into Off Broadway tonight, maybe
Yeah.
pick up something, definitely go see them. I've seen, I don't know, plenty of shows of yours, and they're a pleasure. So,
Man,
what are we
thank
getting to hear, man? This is an exclusive for We Are
this
Live,
is a
huh?
brand new one. I haven't. I'm not even sure what it's called. I think I'm just going to call it Loving, because my brother's got a new movie coming out in November called Loving, and it's actually based on this interracial couple that got married in Virginia in the 50s, and it was against the law.
Right.
In Virginia
We can
in the
relate
50s.
here in St. Louis.
That's enough,
Yeah.
please.
And so, they ended up getting arrested and going to jail, and they had to move to D.C. and sneak back into Virginia to see their families. And
wow.
When's this
it's a
coming
big
out?
thing. November. Wow. But then I guess eventually their case got taken up, maybe by the ACLU, and it went all the way to the Supreme Court, and it was the Lovings versus the state of Virginia court case that struck down a lot of the miscegenation laws.
Right.
And so it was like an equality of marriage
Wow.
Supreme Court thing. But really, the movie doesn't have much to do with that. The movie really focuses on this couple.
Right.
And so yeah. So this song, after seeing the film, this song was real easy to write. But we'll give it a shot here. Thanks again for having us, Sean.
Well, thank you for
Absolutely.
coming.
Thanks,
Appreciate
man.
it.
Another night full of heartache. They just don't want to let us be. Nothing left except outcast love, but that's enough for me. That's enough for me. I won't let them keep us apart. 'Cause love can't be bound by chains. They might come for us in the dark, but it's enough to stay. It's enough to stay. I can tell them that I love you. I can prove my heart is true. It might not be good enough for them, but I just wanna be good enough for you. Remember how it felt the first night. This love we can't afford to lose. I'll take care of you the rest of my days if that's enough for you. If that's enough for you. I can tell them that I love you. I can prove my heart is true. It might not be good enough for them, but I just wanna be good enough for you. Hold the loving. I said hold the time. Now hold your heart there next to mine. So one more night here without you, and then to you I will come back. They ain't never taken me away again. I had enough of that. I had enough of that. I can tell them that I love you. I can prove my heart is true. It might not be good enough for them, but I just wanna be good enough for you. Just wanna be good enough for you. Just wanna be good enough for you. Thanks for having us, man.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much, Lucero.
Ben and Rick from Lucero. They're in town the next 2 nights. Buy their albums. They've got great T-shirts, great merch, everything else, guys. At Lucero Music or Lucero Band on
LuceroMusic.com.
Lucero Music on LuceroMusic.com and on Twitter it's.
I have no idea.
At
I'm never
Lucero
on that.
Band.
I don't mess
I
with
was
guys.
like,
Wait
yeah,
a minute, now
you guys are
no,
social media.
Pump the brakes.
I
Travis,
never said it. I never did it.
I want to see
care what
Rick.
it said.
I want to see Rick on Instagram. I think
We all do.
Travis, that'll cut it, man. What do
We
you
appreciate
think?
you guys taking the
thank you
time.
very
This
much.
means a lot to us. Thank you so much.
That's right. That's Lucero. Check them out. The show, Chris Denman, Travis Terrell. It's We Are Live. We're presented by the Hill Cigar Company. Appreciate you guys tuning in.
We are live, live, live.